Hello, beautiful people. It's another episode of Uncensored Page. I'm super excited because this video is all about my quarterly review. So this is the first Friday of April, and I just can't believe how fast the past 3 months went by. And I think that pretty much a lot of us feel this way. You know, with so many things still related to the pandemic that's going on, I figured it would be nice to give you a little bit of an update about my personal life, but mostly my business in times of the pandemic. I wanted to share with you some of the wins that I had, some of the lessons that I've learned, but this episode will be specifically talking about business growth and business lessons that we've learned in the past 3 months. We map out the rest of the year. And I think it's what I've learned now that I'm in my second year of business. Maybe it will change down the road, but for the most part, I'm learning that usually how you map out the year is not how things usually turn out, right? Like there will always be some things that changes the course of some things, but I am thinking that this is because I'm early in my business. That's why there's a lot of moving parts. And I think a lot of the times, you know, people or entrepreneurs, coaches who are getting started in their business, when they see that there's a lot of moving parts, they start to feel discouraged, or they kind of feel like they're just throwing stuff on the wall, trying to see what sticks, right? And to an extent, that is how it is. But I think any business, the first 2-3 years, usually there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of learning curve, and a lot of ways that we're trying to see how we can optimize the business. And so it's natural for us to feel that, you know, maybe it's not pretty solid yet. Certainly not all businesses are like that, but a lot of the times in my experience and just observing and working with other clients who are also starting their coaching business, their digital marketing businesses, it's very interesting that this is a common it's a common pattern that I'm seeing for starting entrepreneurs. So don't be discouraged if you feel that there's a lot of moving parts in your business right now, especially if you're just getting started. You know, you're still figuring out all the moving parts, figuring out your system, figuring out your offers and how to really make them solid. And frankly, entrepreneurship, it's a journey. You know, the moment you decided that you're going to be unemployable, that you will be focused on your business and no longer tied to a job or someone or a boss or working for a boss, right? When you decided that you want to work for your own business to become an entrepreneur, you have decided that you will embrace uncertainty. So that's just a fact of life of being entrepreneurs, and I think there's a lot of beauty there that we just often don't really talk about. Okay, so what are some of these uncertainties that I've experienced? So it's really interesting because this year I had a couple of people inviting me to speak to events. So I spoke to podcasts, you know, I spoke at a virtual summit, and I also spoke at a what do they call it? Like, I spoke at Pinoy's in Parliament. I forgot what they call that event. But basically, you know, what I find is this was something that I had not planned to do in the first quarter, but because the opportunity presented itself and it was aligned with where I wanted to go in the long term, I said yes. And it's really interesting because on the spot, I had to come up with something that was of value and something that's still deeply, you know, aligned with my brand and with my offers and what I stand for. And so I started presenting the Healthy Holy Money Flow, you know, workshop to people. And this is something that I've been working on at the back end for many years, personally. This was not something that I had planned really for the purpose of business, but this was something that I had been working on for my own family. So the idea behind that is really creating something that creates financial freedom for me and my family. And you know, I came from a very humbling background. None of my family members are entrepreneurs. None of them really are considered, you know, rich. You know, very humbling background. And having to migrate here in Canada, you know, I've seen so many people, especially immigrants, who are striving for greener pastures. And my family is one of them, right? And so coming from that background, you know, searching for that type of freedom, but also remembering that life is not all about money. Life is not all about working hard and not all about just gaining things in this world, because we know that this world will come to a pass and we cannot bring any of the stuff that we collect here. You know, all of our accomplishments ultimately will mean nothing, right? When we're just dust, you know. And a lot of people don't really want to talk about that. And that's why I believe it's so important that when you're starting a business, you know, you're not just doing something for the sake of money. You know, obviously you'll need to survive, you'll need to provide for your family, and I totally get that. I have a family of my own. But ultimately, if you're going to grow a business and put in your heart and soul and your work in something, it has to matter, right? Because the things that truly matter, it will matter even after you pass on to the next life, right? And so it's really interesting because going back, you know, I had not planned all of these speaking opportunities, but they presented themselves, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to present Healthy Holy Money Flow method because this is something that I've been doing for my family. This is how we acquired, you know, all of the financial freedom that we have now, not just when it comes to the money in your bank, but when it comes to the emotional freedom about money, the mental freedom about money. And I think it's so freeing. And especially during this pandemic, you know, I decided to share that method, the method that I created for myself, for my family, to the people that are watching and listening to these different modalities. And so it was really interesting. I received really amazing feedback from people, and they're eager to learn more about it. And so I decided that I'm actually going to turn it into a course. So if you're interested in that, definitely, you know, keep an eye out, because I'm working towards creating that program, and it will be on pre-sale pretty soon. So maybe later this month. I also created In-Demand Skills for the New Economy, which is a small weekend-long product. I call it weekend product because it's a small course that people can take over the weekend so that they can start or transition their careers online. And I figured, you know, I'm in this position where I'm truly blessed to know what I know. And for me, I know deep inside that it's my duty to share what I know so that other people can flourish, so that we can expand this abundance to our communities, to other families, and to the rest of the world. You know, I really believe that if more people live an abundant and generous life, we can solve so many problems in this world. And this is why I'm so passionate about being an entrepreneur, about starting your own business, and about really doing what you can to acquire this level of freedom in your life. So I created that product, and if you're interested, I'll definitely link it down below. It's only $47, but you know, this uncensored thing is not really for pitching my stuff. I just wanted to share with you what I have been creating in hopes to serve other people and to really target those who want to change their lives. So aside from that, you know, those are some major wins that I had business-wise, but some experimentations that we've been doing. My husband, if you don't know, he is a Facebook ad specialist, but he also does some Google ads on the side. So he's been building up his career as an ads manager. And it's really interesting because he's developed his own method as well. And it's been working ridiculously amazing for his clients. So he's been able to 2x, 3x some of the revenues of our clients through his ads method. And we decided, you know what, let's start experimenting with ads with my account. So we've been doing that, and I will definitely keep you posted once we have results. We just started last week, so it hasn't been a long enough time for me to share it with you. What are some lessons that I learned? So last quarter, I also launched Life Masters Network, and I've also launched, soft launch for Life Masters Network and Brand Builder Monthly. So these are my monthly subscription programs, and it's my first time, you know, doing subscription models like this. And now I'm trying to think about how to scale it and how to grow it. And I have not been working hard on marketing it. just because it's more of a lower tier product for me. But I am learning and also observing other clients who are in a similar boat. Building up your membership program, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna launch a membership program, it has to be your main focus. It has to be your main offer, right? Otherwise, if it's just gonna be a side gig or a side offer, it's not gonna be the best way for you to put in your time and your effort, especially if, let's say, you have a few members coming in, right? So this would be really amazing if you have a big group of people coming in live with you every time. But aside from that, I really think that we ought to focus on our main thing. So that's definitely a learning for me. I don't like calling things, well, it was a mistake, but a mistake is always a learning opportunity. There is no failure, only feedback, right? So this feedback was definitely a learning for me, because I learned that if you are going to launch a membership program, it has to be your main thing. If it's just gonna be a low tier product, it's not gonna be the best way for you to put in your time and your effort. You might as well work on something else that will allow you to serve people at a higher level. Okay, so that's what I learned. If you have a different experience, I would love to hear about it, because I'm continuously learning. I'm just sharing with you what I've experienced so far. So those are, just a little bit of something about my past quarter in my business. And in the next video, I think I'll be sharing with you a little bit more about my vision, lots of things that we're learning and really building up this business, But before I end this video, I just want to share with you why I do what I do. So this whole pandemic, I have been working with a lot of different businesses, and it's really interesting because I can see which CEOs or which business owners are operating in fear. And I want to change that. As entrepreneurs in the new economy, we ought to operate in confidence, operate in such a way where our team members and the people that we serve are top in our minds. Yes, we need to worry about ourselves, but I think as we position ourselves as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, you're in that leadership position. And I think it's really important that other people's interests, the people that you serve, the team members around you, their interest comes first. Because usually, that is how we're able to make up our mind about things, make decisions that will not only be good for us or the company, but it's going to be good for everyone, right? So I think if it's good for us, but it doesn't seem good to our team members, if it's a compromise on our team members, it's not a good decision. It's not worth it. Remember, one of the things I love to say is, don't ever let your ambition take you to places where your integrity can't go. Okay? And so this whole season for me was really about thinking about how I can stay true to myself, stay true to my team members. They're helping me achieve my dreams, and I want to be able to do the same for them. And I think, we always have to think about, okay, where am I operating? Am I making this decision out of fear? Or am I making this decision out of, good intentions, out of my belief for this bigger vision that I have? All right, so I'm gonna leave it at that, and I want to thank you again for watching this episode of Uncensored Paige, and I'll catch you again next time. Bye.